Labor Day weekend is a prime time for backyard barbecues, marking the unofficial end of summer. But prices for cookout staples like steak, chicken, and other side dishes have jumped since last summer. As of July, the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows grocery prices are up 2.2% year over year, continuing a trend that began with pandemic-era supply chain disruptions. So here with what we're seeing as we prepare for our final summer cookout, we have Ohio State Extension Trumbull County Agriculture educator Lee Beers with us. Lee, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So where are we seeing some of the highest prices when it comes to those cookout staples right now?
Yeah, you mentioned chicken and beef, and beef is by far going to be the most expensive um, item on the Labor Day picnic menu this year. If you're throwing hamburgers on the grill or smoking a brisket, there's a lot of factors going into causing cattle prices to be high right now, which will then lead down to the beef prices that you're seeing at the grocery store.
Are there any menu items that have dropped in price?
Yeah, so there are plenty of items that have dropped from peaks that, if we think of eggs, for example, those prices have dropped down, but they're still probably more expensive than what we were paying a couple of years ago. Years ago. So other products have also come down a little bit, but they're still elevated compared to what we were expecting 2, 3 years ago.
I wonder what's keeping the prices on meat and other groceries going up. Do you think it's mainly due to the tariffs at this point?
So for beef, it's a little bit of a couple of things. It's a little bit of tariffs, but it's most likely due to the low cattle herds in the United States. We have record low number of cattle in the United States, and that takes a long time for those numbers to rebound. And on top of that, we also have the New World screwworm, which is closing down some of the border crossings, trying to limit that spread of that parasitic worm into the United States. So we have a couple of factors playing into this that's kind of coming together for a perfect storm to causes beef prices to go up.
In your opinion, what's our best bet when it comes to getting a good price and getting quality meat this time of the year?
So if you're able to shop around and find a local farmer who has a freezer beef for sale, if you can afford it, buying a quarter or half a cow or a whole cow at 110 can be expensive, but that's probably going to be your best bang for the buck. You're going to get hamburger at that lower cost point, but you're also going to get some of those steaks where you're going to kind of even out that expense over the year. But if you're able to do that, you can contact a local butcher shop. They can put you into contact with some of those farmers, or they may be able to sell one to you directly.
Now, looking back on the summer that we had, what was the growing and harvesting season like for our farmers? And what's the outlook going into the fall?
Yeah, we've had a very rough growing season. So here in Trumbull County, most of the region was very, very wet starting out to the year. So planting season was delayed. Things were planted under less than ideal conditions. And then the rain just shut off. So we went from very wet to very dry. So we're seeing a lot of crops that are stressed out. We may notice that we're having a little less flavor in some of our fruits because we need a lot of that late season water to drive that flavor production, especially in apples and fruits, things like that. But it's been very rough. Our crops do not look fantastic, very uneven. I think harvest is going to be challenging for individuals when they see the yields come across the scales.
As we see more immigration raids taking place from farms out west, are you seeing that there's a labor shortage that farmers are dealing with now?
There's a constant labor shortage in agriculture. The immigration raids have not really impacted Northeastern Ohio too much because we do not have a lot of immigration labor, especially here in Trumbull County. If you go towards the lake, there's a little bit more with the nursery industry, but we are constantly struggling to find good labor, consistent labor. So the immigration raids are not really impacting us locally, but we're constantly looking for good labor.
All right, lots of things to watch out for. Lee Beers, thank you so much once again for joining us this morning.
Thanks.